Spring of 1926, newspapers of the world were filled with the fantastic story that a small dirigible called the Norge was flying across the North Pole from Spitsbergen to Alaska. Known as the Amundsen-Ellsworth-Nobile expedition, the flight was commissioned to explore the vast unknown Arctic region and determine if there was a continent on the top of the world. Famed Norwegian explorer Roald Amundsen interested American explorer Lincoln Ellsworth in financing the flight and becoming co-leader of the expedition. The commander of the Norge was Umberto Nobile, the Italian who had designed and built the dirigible. The Norge cast off from snow-clad Spitsbergen the morning of May 11, 1926, with 16 men and Nobile's tiny dog Titina aboard. 14 hours later, the Norge was over the North Pole. It was 1:30 in the morning, May 12th, and broad daylight. With great ceremony, the explorers dropped 3 flags: the Norwegian, the American, and the Italian. Now began the adventure over the unknown sector of the Arctic. The wireless went dead. A large piece of ice flung from a propeller and tore a gaping hole in the dirigible's metal cowling. Huge billowing ice clouds and fog covered the route. On and on they went. Where were they? Unsure, they pressed on through the second day and the second night. The third morning, they sighted land. Amundsen recognized Wainwright, Alaska, as the Norge headed down toward Bering Strait, bound for Nome. The journey was almost over. Then a violent storm struck. For a day and a night, the Norge was tossed about in fog, sleet, snow, and high wind. They were lost. Fearful of hitting mountains or the open sea, the crew made frequent changes in course, first inland, then back to the coast. Dead tired, the men were unfit for work. At 7:30 in the morning of the 14th, they saw a small village, and in spite of dangerous squaws, they brought the Norge to earth. As the exhausted explorers staggered out of the airship, they asked, "Where in the world are we?" "In Teller, Alaska," was the reply, just 75 miles from Nome. This first expedition across the top of the world had taken 71 hours. The Norge flew 3,180 miles at an average speed of 45 miles per hour. The daring flight of the Norge, which established that there was no Arctic continent, was a major contribution to polar history and an exciting episode in the heritage of Alaska.